Okay, it is 9:48 and we've returned from our a little bit longer than 5-minute break. We do have the rest of the meeting to go through. So once again, thank you to Yolanta Matiars, who is our liaison from JCPL, for participating in that presentation. Once again, we're going to check with JCP&L. Excuse me, once we get the all clear, we will post the slideshow on our website, and that will identify for folks, especially in the hills, which substation they are supplied energy from. And also thank you to all our residents and for the JCP&L line workers who showed up to give their comments. A couple things we learned. Thank God for Colin Hickey. Colin Hickey is wonderful.
Oh, God.
We knew
Colin
that.
Hickey is phenomenal. So these are the things we
That's
learned.
all you got out of
These are
meeting,
things
huh?
we learned tonight. So nice comments, Steve.
Yeah, that was very nice. Thank you.
We have one set of minutes to approve, which is the January 17th, not the that's regular session, Township Committee meeting. Any comments regarding the minutes?
Abstain.
Abstain? Do you have a motion to approve the minutes from January 17th?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 permits and raffles to go through. First is annual seasonal farm market permit for Flounder Brewing Company to sell alcohol, that would be beer, at the Bedminster Farmers Market at River Road. And that seasonal permit runs May 27th through December 9th, 2023. The second is a similar annual seasonal farm market for Sky Acres Winery to sell alcohol, that's wine, at the Bedminster Farmers Market, once again beginning May 27th and running through December 9th. So let's take those two together. Any questions or comments regarding those permits? And Ms. Ray, this is a permit that we've approved before for the wine and beer vendors showing up at the farmers market, correct?
That's correct.
So this is standard. Any questions or comments? No. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve those two permits.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the rest, social fair permit to benefit Children's Specialized Hospital Foundation on July 24th from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club, 1040 Pottersville Road. Next is a social fair permit to benefit Union College Foundation on April 24th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow, 811 Rattlesnake Ridge Road. Then we have an off-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation on May 11, 2023, 9:50 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. Next, an on-premise merchandise raffle to benefit Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation on May 11, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. And then an off-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Far Hills Country Day School on Friday, April 21st, 2023 at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. Any questions or comments regarding any of those permits or raffles? Seeing none, take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair. We will start with Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Had a HPC meeting this last round. Nothing really to report back other than trying to get on top of some of the signage issues in our historic districts. The committee's working with some of our property owners that have some challenging signage issues, meaning they've got multiple tenants and not enough space for signs. So we're looking to tackle that issue, and in connection with that, we're looking and working with Committeeman Hickey on putting together our subcommittee for land use and historic pres to sort of talk through that process and streamline some of the issues that the two boards deal with. On DPW, we've extended offers out to two folks, one for the mechanic position, one for the, forgive me, Robin, is it the
Truck driver.
Truck driver, thank you. And I believe both have accepted. One's
Great.
from Hackettstown and one's from Franklin up in Warren or Sussex County. But Kevin's very excited about it. He would have been here tonight. He's not feeling well, but good hires. Think that it's going to be something that's long-term. So good news on that. Working with Kevin on the budget. We'll get with you next budget session on DPW issues. I think that's really all I've got. We've got some other, one-off meetings that we've had, police negotiation, but nothing really to report back on subcommittees other than that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. Board of Health had its reorganization meeting at its last meeting. One issue they are looking to resolve over the next few months is the notion of substantial improvement language in the current septic ordinance. Currently, our township ordinance is tied to a monetary value. So folks who are rehabbing a place and they put in granite countertops or put some marble in the bathroom, they're suddenly triggering a septic review, which is catching them by surprise because it's tied to the monetary value of the rehabilitation. The board is going to look instead to rely on the state's language, which came into effect in 2012, that defines reconstruction as a function of square footage and footprint as opposed to monetary value. That should work. That work should wrap up in the next month or so and hopefully provide some administrative relief to our residents. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Moreski.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. I want to get some dates for you for the Jacobus Vanderveer events. 5 Generals Tours coming up on February 19th from 10 to 3. Field of Honor flags will go up on May 13th. They'll stay up till July 4th. The Field of Honor and Armed Forces Celebration Day will be May 20th from 11 to 3, and the Summer Soiree will be hosted on June 3rd from 6 to 9. Get these on your calendar. The year's going by fast. Real quick, Environmental Committee. The committee discussed the cleanup of the stall area, the milk house and the silo. They are covered in graffiti. The committee discussed power washing the buildings first, and then if that doesn't quite work all the way, they'll paint the buildings in the same colors as cinder blocks. Once the area is cleaned up, the EC is going to go out and clean up all the glass and the junk that's out there too. The EC will be talking with Chief Bernardo to talk about putting a motion detector camera out there, borrowing that from the police department to make sure it stays nice and clean and neat. And just a reminder, the 33rd annual stream cleanup will be held April 15th this year. This year, our Deb Taglieri from Environmental will be hosting the Bedminster site. Sign up will be on the Raritan Headwaters website beginning March 1st at www.raritanheadwaters.org. Hope to see you all there. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a few rec updates. So despite of what the groundhog had to say, our winter programs will be wrapping up by the end of this month, and spring programs are coming out. We have some after-school enrichment programs, the art and music, STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics programs, and adult indoor volleyball, in addition to some soccer clinics and our basketball tournaments. And our summer camp schedule is nearly complete, and the planner will be sent out soon, and registration will begin April 1st. And Neil just wanted me to mention that the farmers market applications were mailed out on January 30th, and the information is posted on the website. And that is all.
Great, thank you. So a couple things that I just want to cover real quick. And if you notice me talking fast, that's purposeful. So earlier today, Committeeman Hickey and I attended a seminar from New Jersey EDA in conjunction with Somerset County Economic Development Office. And it was a presentation on small business services, and it was something that I learned today, which is that EDA offers 2 forms of grants to assist small businesses in leases. So new leases or lease extensions. It allows small businesses to get money from EDA to support them and lock in on leases. And then there was another grant program, also I wasn't aware of, for improvements for furniture, fixtures, and equipment at small businesses. This grant Both these grant processes are not subject to prevailing wage requirements, which often holds back a lot of applications, especially for smaller businesses. We're going to get the presentation from EDA, and we can make it available on our website. And it really should be a terrific opportunity for businesses looking to locate in Bedminster, or for landlords looking to attract businesses that might need a little help. And certainly, that improvement grant, 50% of the cost of improvements, once again, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And these grants can run up to $50,000. So to stock up a new business, whether it's furniture or otherwise, this is a great inducement to bring businesses to town and to know that these tools are available to them. One of the questions that came up, the improvement grant actually extends to home-based businesses.
Wow.
So something to think about. We've not had a land use board meeting. There are no current hearings scheduled. We are going to have a consideration of some master plan issues, and that meeting will likely be scheduled in March. And also this week, I do have a meeting. Committeeman Hickey will be attending as well, with representatives from MetLife, EDA, county, the governor's office, regarding Rutgers University, the State Office of Planning, regarding the AT&T campus, and once again, repurposing it to high-tech life sciences and putting together some information that would also be attractive, not necessarily to small businesses, but to large businesses, and attracting them to that property for redevelopment. And farmers market, Jane mentioned, we're currently entertaining applications. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Ray for the administrator's report.
Okay, I'm going to be very brief. We welcomed 2 new employees in the past 2 weeks. Elliot Perez, our IT director, actually started with us on January 23rd, and he has been fixing all sorts of things all over the place. And we also welcomed Amanda Jessamine to provide support for DPW and admin. She started January 30th.
And she's up there on the screen.
And yes, she is.
Welcome aboard, Amanda.
And second, my report will be extra brief, is budget, and budget. Sewer budget, municipal court budget, and the municipal budget. That's what we're focusing on this time.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. We've no public hearing of ordinances. We do have one ordinance to introduce, which is ordinance number 2023-01. This will be our first ordinance. This ordinance authorizes the funding of a capital project for improvements to the Miller Lane pump station. Ms. Ray, just want to give us a brief description?
Yes, Mayor, this ordinance is in anticipation of receiving the money from the county so that we can take it into our budget and make the necessary improvements right away.
Okay, I think we're all familiar. We've discussed the money that's come in and the need for the improvements, essentially the replacement of the Miller Lane pump station. So if the ordinance is introduced tonight, the public hearing will be scheduled for February 21st. I'll take a motion to introduce ordinance number 2023-01.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye. And once again, the public hearing for this ordinance will be scheduled for February 21st, 2023, here in these chambers. We have no items on the consent agenda. We have 5 resolutions for individual consideration. The first resolution is resolution number 2023-031, authorizes the Township of Bedminster to submit a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the fiscal year 2023 local recreation improvement grant in the amount of $70,500. Ms. Ray, so we're submitting a grant application and DCA requires a municipal resolution. This is a routine request of DCA. Doesn't mean we're getting the grant, but simply that the Township Committee authorizes the submission of the grant application itself. Any questions or comments? Is this for anything specific, or is this a general grant application?
Yes, no, I can actually tell you, it is for something very specific. We thought it would be wonderful to replace the temporary tent that we have at the farmer's market with a more permanent picnic type pavilion structure that would be open air, and also with 2 permanent restrooms at River Road Park as opposed to the portables that we have there now.
Great. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, take a motion to approve resolution number 2023-031.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2023-032. This resolution authorizes the provision of a loan pursuant to the Township of Bedminster Affordable Assistance Program for 11 Cheswick Court, Bedminster. So this is a routine, something that we routinely do, which is provide a loan under the Affordability Assistance Program. Any questions or comments regarding the resolution? None. I'll take a motion to approve resolution 2023-032.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is resolution 2023-033. This is the first of the Doug Stevenson appointments that he just mentioned earlier. So this resolution appoints a full-time mechanic for the Department of Public Works. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, take a motion to approve resolution 2023-033.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
And we welcome Brandon Lisa to that position. And next is resolution 2023-034. This resolution appoints a full-time truck driver laborer for the Department of Public Works. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, take a motion to approve resolution 2023-034.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
And we welcome Michael Ennis to the position of truck driver laborer for DPW. Welcome aboard. Last resolution for tonight is resolution 2023-035. This resolution amends an earlier resolution, 2023-007, and authorizes additional funds to be expended for stormwater compliance solutions, professional services related to stormwater management. Ms. Ray, any details on this?
Yes, I can provide some background on this resolution. In the beginning of the year, we award all our professional services contracts. We originally awarded $15,000, and as soon as we made that award, the state guidelines for stormwater management came out, and there are some compliance issues that we need to fulfill immediately, tripling our expense close to $45,000. And a lot of that has to do with the inlet and catch basin inspections that need to be done, and as opposed to doing them just once a year, now you have to do them quarterly. There's a number of different aspects that we need to comply with, so hence we need to amend that resolution at $30,000 to that professional services contract.
And Paul's not here, but my understanding, and I hope I'm not getting this wrong, which is that DP came out with a new municipal stormwater permit much more onerous than what we had before, puts greater burden on the municipalities to do stormwater management, stormwater maintenance, and to make sure that the facilities are kept in top-notch condition, which I think ours had been, but this requires much more intensive inspections and reporting back to New Jersey DEP. So with that comes additional expenses.
With a funding mechanism too, right?
No, that's not how.
That's not in there?
Permit, no.
That's
No.
shocking.
So I believe that's what's considered an unfunded mandate.
Yes,
One of many.
yet another.
To give you an example, we used to just have to inspect the inlets, 20% of the inlets annually, now we have to do 100% of them annually. It's just one.
So with that, and seeing as we don't have much of an option, I'll take, if there's no further questions or comments regarding the resolution, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any member of the Township Committee want to put anything up for discussion for new business? Seeing none, moving right along, we'll go to old business. So we have a couple things for consideration for old business. The DOT improvements and the DOT issues that are currently on the old business agenda are the guardrail extensions up by the pond along 206 and getting DOT to take a hard look at the signs in Pluckman, Misray.
Okay, so it's twofold. Obviously, we have two different groups that we're meeting with. I'm working on the signage right now with Meredith. They just came out with the crosswalk study, DOT crosswalk study, and that's considering adding more signage to
Right.
the already crowded Pluckman. So the engineers are rethinking their position and will get back to us.
So it's interesting, if you drive through Pluckman, you're bombarded with signage, some of which is consistent and some of which is inconsistent. You see parking signs, you see 40 mile an hour, you see 35 mile an hour, you see pedestrian crossings, some signs that are old and are no longer up to spec, and then you see another sign that's older and even further out of spec. So as DOT has been imposing requirements on the local signage down there, they've never taken away some of the older signs that are still there. So you are just bombarded with information. Frankly, in my thought, or my estimation, it's information overload. You see so many signs that you don't even pay attention. So we've asked DOT to look and see what signs are actually expendable and can be removed. Second issue, the guardrails.
So actually, Frank, Chief Bernardo, and our DPW Director, Kevin Murray, did a field inspection with the engineers from DOT, and I'll let Chief Bernardo follow up on that.
Yeah, so basically, they're not in favor of adding guardrails based on federal mandates that it's difficult to add guardrails because if you get into a car crash, it's potentially put people in danger. So they suggested doing it through vegetation and fencing. And the DPW director was talking about maybe putting a split rail fence, which is, they call it crashable. God forbid somebody crashes into it, it's forgiving, and then some vegetation. But he would really have to tell you what plans he comes up with to resolve that. But they are also going to put in a work order to add a couple more no stopping and standing signs along that stretch. So there's a line of sight between signs where it's very clear you're not supposed to stop there.
And so of the elements that we're discussing, those items that fall on the DOT expenses would be the signage, or would they also be involved with the fence and the vegetation plantation?
Just the signage.
Just the signage. Okay, well, we'll take what we can. Okay, all right, thank you, Chief, and we'll continue to put that on there as whether it's the signs actually get installed and DPW makes a recommendation on fencing and signage. Or, I'm sorry, fencing and vegetation. Utilities. You really want to touch utilities again? You sure?
Well, we talked about Jason.
Oh, I'm going to make you, well, let's go to Altice. Let's go to
All right, you
Altice
want-
and New Jersey American.
So Altice, I'm continuing to have my weekly meetings with their project management team. So Yolanda's like number one on my speed dial. They might be 1A or 1B. Just trying to make sure the contracts are moving through the process. The goal remains to begin construction in the spring, which is next month.
It's coming up.
So I'm like, guys, resources, construction, you guys are ready, right? They're putting the teams together internally. I will keep harping on that. to
So
make
do you
sure it
know how
happens.
many contracts are still outstanding?
So there are about, like I said last time, about a third have been signed, mostly in the Hills Village North area. There's another third that have been back and forth with attorney review. I expect those to be signed probably in the next month. And then there's a final third where they were later in the process. They will probably start to come online probably later in spring or summer, but realize the construction is not going to catch up with them. So they're going to start building, and then as those contracts get signed, they'll start adding additional neighborhoods, but you've got enough in the hopper now where they can get started.
Okay, so there's certainly critical mass to actually start
Correct.
undertaking the project, especially in Hills Village
North, correct. And then
Okay.
they're going to move to Hills Village presumably, because that's where the next generation of contracts will be signed. And then I think eventually they'll move up the hill.
And for those who are here in person or participating by Zoom, what we're discussing is the extension of fiber from Altice, that's the Optimum service,
Correct.
into the Hills neighborhoods, particularly those that are not served by any fiber cable, any fiber optics.
And the interesting thing there, Mayor, is there are 3 developments in the hills served by FiOS today. Those folks are all interested in installing fiber
Interesting.
because really it gives them an option.
It gives an option.
And that means when you have options, you get better pricing from the carrier.
So FiOS runs a special, you switch to FiOS.
Yeah,
Altice runs another special, you go back there and
right.
you.
That's how you get pricing power and leverage
Exactly.
with the carriers.
Okay, that's very interesting because we did hear from Timberbrook,
Mhm.
which said, no thanks, we already have FiOS.
Right.
We're not interested in participating in this.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's still their position.
Yes. And unfortunately, they're outside the service area. They could have made an exception, but no.
Okay, got it.
No, I was going to do one more
Okay,
thing.
New Jersey American?
New Jersey American Water, I just want to let you know, we were notified of a rate study that EDC will be conducting to determine the viability of including usage-based pricing for sewer services as opposed to the flat rate pricing model used now. Ms. Ray is coordinating a meeting with the Sewer Advisory Committee. We've been asked to gather comments before they begin that study. Then they will perform the study. We don't have to agree or accept the results of that study, but they're going to start doing that work.
And this is something that has come up over years as
Right.
we've all been campaigning and knocking on doors and getting a lot of complaints about the way that EDC has been billing for sewage rates in the hills. You can have 7 people living in a unit and you're going to pay the same as 1 person living in a similar unit. So certainly a big problem up there on sewer fees. When this was discussed in the past, it was essentially, this is the way, and unfortunately, it's a similar conversation to what we had about the electrical utilities, is that when the Hills was built, that's the way they built it. They didn't build in specific meters, so they just ascribed a flat rate across the board. Now that New Jersey American Water purchased EDC, so EDC essentially has the water usage rates already in hand from consumption, from water meters. So while there may not be a sewer meter, this may allow EDC to then charge based on water consumption rather than flat rate. We will perhaps find out if that's where they're heading, or are they heading towards actual sewer meters. I imagine they would probably do consumption-based, but we'll see how that goes. And once again, there could be winners, there could also be losers by going to that basis, but it certainly may be a more equitable scenario. So we'll see
what happens.
how that proceeds. New Jersey American Water also, Doug, we saw some emails regarding New Jersey American Water and paving certain roads. I think you put it best. That seems to be a bit of a miscommunication between New Jersey American Water and DPW on the responsibilities for paving. I'm not sure if you want to get into that now or save it.
Sure. It's just, we know that they had come up the northern part of the town and they were running replacement lines, and anytime a utility opens up your streets, they've got to make plans to put it back together again. And on Ski Hill Drive, I'm not sure whether Berkshire was included or not, but I know for sure Ski Hill, the lines were opened up, the work was, repaved back over, but then there's the half of the road that needs to get paved. And we were exploring, if you recall at the time, PSE&G, we were exploring sewer. So the communication back to the water company was, we've got other things going on. We don't need to have this repaved right here, right now. And the water company took that to mean, oh, we're relieved of our obligation to pave your road. And so we're working with DPW to explain, no, that's not the case. We just didn't need it done then and there. So I'll obviously be following up with Kevin and engaging as needed, but the idea is we will make an allocation and get some certain from the company to allocate towards paving down the line.
Right, and that way it can be eventually coordinated with future site work, or if that work is not going to happen, then be deployed for repaving of Ski Hill. That's right. Thanks for sticking with that. Next is Pluckman Park Housing. I'm going to table that for tonight. And we do not have an executive session. So we'll go through Township Committee comments and we'll take a motion to adjourn for the night. Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I know it's been a long night, so I won't be long. I just wanted to take a moment just to recognize Colin. And after tonight, what we saw here with the residents, we try, each of us, I think, to roll our sleeves up and get into issues and, leave the town better than we found it. But nowhere that I'm aware of in a elected official's bag of tricks is it to get utilities to start enhancing their services. And I think, Colin, what you've done with the cable certainly, and now obviously with the PSE&G, JCP&L, it's above and beyond. And hopefully you can see the fruits of your efforts, felt by the community. But thank you for that. You make us all look good. And Mayor, thank you for your involvement as well. So it was good to see. I commend you. You're moving mountains. I don't know how you're doing it, but keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
I didn't say it was your turn yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to go to Gina now. He's going to mix up the order, isn't he?
All right, Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Committeeman Stevenson. Thank you, Mayor. And I just also want to thank our residents who showed up. We still have one in the audience, Gordon.
Yeah.
As well as a few online. But seriously, I don't know if you realize your presence amplifies our voices and makes a real difference. And you know what? I'm hopeful, and I think Yolanda heard it loud and clear. She'll go back tonight and let those folks know, and we'll keep chipping away at the rock and get improvements, because they need to make the investments in the system, make improvements to the system. This is one part of the puzzle. So thank you all for expressing your opinion. Much appreciated. Mayor, that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Mareski.
And as always, I'm going to echo Doug's comments. Thank you so much, Committeeman Hickey, for all you do for us, for making sure that the Hills is involved with all these decisions, because sometimes we feel we're a little underrepresented, and you guys got our back. And I'm going to cry just for the mayor. But thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. It does make a big difference. We're trying to affect some change up here, but without you guys, we can't do it. So thank you all.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Just to echo everyone's sentiments, same thing, Colin. You are our wonderful utility liaison. You are a wonderful thorn in the utility side. You are persistent,
It's
and
phenomenal.
you are always acting on behalf of the residents, and that is very much appreciated. And thank you, Mayor, for your guidance and in this issue and everything else that happens in town, your leadership and guidance. And thank you to Yolanta for the informative presentation, and also for answering all the questions to the best of her ability. And to all the residents for coming out and expressing their wants and needs, and that's very, very important. So that's all. Have a good night.
So first, thank you to the Township Committee for your comments and questions to Yolanta. You all raised great points and pointed points as well. So, look, it's easy to say nothing's going to happen, right? Be a skeptic, be a cynic, that these public information sessions don't go anywhere. They are a necessity. Colin, you just said that, it's by bringing in the public that it's one thing for them to hear you or me or any other township committee person, or even from the administrator about issues. But to get the public out, both in person and online, to express and re-express the concerns that the infrastructure is aged, that there's been too much deferred maintenance, and that we are hitting a tipping point in these neighborhoods. And once again, I think the Woods Oak Pond is a perfect example, right? The underground line failed. It's not going to be the first, right? Well,
And
maybe
it wasn't
the first. It's not going to be the last.
And it hasn't been the last, because it happened again.
Right? And when you look at the utilities, boxes, switching here in Village Green, 40 years old, right? This is a problem. And Yolanta is the liaison. She's not the engineer, and she's not a decision maker, but she reports to those who do make decisions. And so the fact that Bedminster, we coalesce around an issue, we highlight it, bring it here, we have the press in attendance. This will work. If we don't have these meetings, we won't get the improvements. So having these meetings is the path forward. And just as we've done, and you've all heard me say it, this is not the end. We just don't run meetings to have a meeting. We don't convene Yolanta and the public and just end it there. So we will be following up. We'll be following up with representatives from each of the associations and with Yolanta, and we'll be reporting back to you all in the near future as these meetings progress. So, it's something else that, we can put on our plates. And just as you look at our agenda, utilities is right there under old business. We're not taking it down. It stays there, and we'll keep this issue moving forward. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At 10:26, we'll say good night. Good night.
Whoa, good one, Sam.
Wow, waking us up.